It wasn't that long ago that this was considered state-of-the-art technology. This is a Hewlett-Packard 48GX, whopping 128K of RAM. Actually made in 1993, not that long ago. This was my calculator when I was studying civil engineering. Folks, this is Fernando doing another video for More Survivalists, and I'm using this calculator as to put into context what we have today available to us with smartphones. Smartphones are impressive pieces of technology. They are extremely powerful, and the functions they can do are very valuable to us. In terms of modern survivalism, it's not just about using a smartphone for playing Angry Birds and watching your Facebook status. There's things that a smartphone can do that could be very valuable to you. All right. Now the problem is that smartphones are a little bit expensive, and not everyone can spend 400, 500, 600 bucks in a smartphone. Yet there are things that you can do with one of these that you cannot do with a more normal phone. Sometimes people think, yeah, I have a more basic model, it makes all the calls, I can check my email, that's all I need. Well, I've learned from my time in Argentina and Buenos Aires when things were a little bit tough. There's other things that a phone is needed for as well. At least in my case, I wasn't much of a cell phone fanatic. This was actually the first phone that I bought for myself, and I started getting more serious about carrying one on daily basis when things started getting a little bit tougher in terms of crime back in Argentina. I realized that it was important to stay in touch with your family, know your whereabouts and such, be able to contact one another when needed. But there were also things that a smartphone did that other phones did not do, were not capable of doing, that I also found to be extremely useful. In my case, I really appreciated being able to keep up with ongoing events, with local news. With so much protest, rioting, and roadblocks going on in Buenos Aires, it was a matter of checking local news and seeing where there was problems, where there was trouble, so as to avoid that. This is something that you can probably relate to, given the current rioting in America. You guys in the United States may end up finding yourself in that same position not so far into the future. You may end up using your smartphone for watching where there's problems, where there's trouble in your city, and avoiding rioting, looting, and protests. You may end up using your cell phone so as to check maps, use the GPS. You are using it not only for phone calls, sending texts, sending emails, using other social networks to stay in touch, maybe get a little bit of Wi-Fi signal to communicate. Some of these have built-in FM radios. Using them with the headphones as an antenna, you can listen to FM radios. One of the things I found very useful, besides looking for using the news so as to know what parts of the city to avoid, using the maps so as to know which routes to take, GPS and such, checking on the traffic. One of the things I used a lot was the currency exchange rate. With the financial collapse and the devaluated currency, it was a matter of checking before making any dollar to peso transaction, checking on the value of the dollar, actually the value of the peso to the dollar that same day before selling or buying foreign currency. I can easily see something similar to that happening with precious metals. Maybe you're going to be buying, selling gold, silver, and you check with your smartphone the current value of that currency right that moment before sealing the deal. I can see how you could use it for checking your online banking, making transactions, maybe if there's trouble sending money from one place to another so as to avoid losing your savings, sending money even abroad, maybe booking flights so as to get yourself out of there if you ever have to do that. There's so many things that you can do with a smartphone. Not to mention you of course have the flash, which is a LED light which can be used as a flashlight. You have the camera so as to film and take photographs, take photographs of vehicles, license plates, people, record events for legal purposes, maybe in your defense. All those things you can do with a smartphone, but they are expensive. So that's why I'm doing this video about the Moto G. The Moto G has to be probably the best deal in terms of a smartphone right now. You don't want to spend crazy money, but for $200 you can get one of these. Maybe a little bit more for this model, the 4G. This is the best Moto G available as of right now. Kind of new actually. Moto G 4G LTE has very fast, very snappy, good connection. And for $400 give or take, you're getting a ton, and I mean a ton, of cell phone. You have a 4.5-inch display, high definition Gorilla Glass, which is actually bigger than the latest iPhone flagship model. You have a processor. It's a Snapdragon 400 quad core, 1.2 gigahertz, 8 gigs of internal memory, but it has the 4G LTE model has an expandable memory slot for adding another 32 gigs of memory with a micro SD card. Okay, so you can expand that even beyond an iPhone. You have as I mentioned before, 4G LTE connection, the fastest one available as of right this moment. An internal battery of 2070 milliamperes, which is actually pretty good, very decent. It's running on the latest Android KitKat 4.4.4 best operating system as of right this moment. The only thing where they're cutting a little bit of cost is in actually the camera, which is, at least for me, or probably for you as well, it's not that much of a big deal. Have a 5 megapixel back camera, and you have a 1.3 megapixel camera up front. More than enough for most of us, the kind of needs that most of us have. You have, of course, a very flash as well, which can be used as a flashlight. And very interesting to this model is that you have a certain amount of water resistance. It has a water resistance coating on the inside, and because of that internal battery, it's pretty good in terms of resisting. Not, a little bit of rain won't kill it, and even dropping it in water, shallow water, picking it up fast enough, you won't have an issue with this phone. As you see, I included a case, and staying in the theme of a budget smartphone, I didn't go with a fancy OtterBox Defender case, which may cost $40, $50 give or take. This was a quite decent case that I found on Amazon. I'm going to be leaving the links below for the Moto G and for this case as well. It's not an OtterBox, but it's quite nice. It's actually very, very nice. You have the softer silicone wrapping, and you have this harder shell that snaps on the outside. You have the ports, a micro USB port there, opened. Actually fits very nicely, and I have no doubt that it provides a great amount of shock protection. You're going to be dropping this, and it's going to be protecting the phone very well. You have the power button still available. It's kind of deceiving. The volume rocker doesn't seem to have a good reach, but just pressing on it, you just feel it click nicely still. And you have this stand there for using it for watching movies and that sort of thing. Again, snaps there into place. So, I mean, it's without a doubt the best deal I found in terms of a great smartphone for that money. And you're not spending crazy money like you can spend like 3-4 times as much in a flagship Samsung or iPhone. Then you're not losing any of this. None of those phones that cost 3 or even 4 times as much, it will do anything in terms of practical tasks that this phone is not capable of. This is a phone that will easily last 2-3 years before you need to upgrade to something better, and it's plenty of phone for the money. I just love the way the case looks. It looks pretty nice, actually. Folks, that's all for now. Just remember to subscribe. If you like the video, share it with others, and a thumbs up is always appreciated. The link's going to be there below for phone and case. Guys, take care, have a great day, and see you in the next video. Take care.